Mario Kart 8 Deluxe saw huge changes immediately after the launch of the Wave 4 Booster Course Pass. And for those that regularly play Mario Kart Online, it's almost like a new game now. And our friend Birdo is at the forefront of the new era of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Let's talk about it. In this video, I wanted to share my personal perspective of the latest changes to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe that may be different from what you've seen in articles and videos that have flooded the internet since Wave 4 launched. And for me to fully explain the new era of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, I need to share a bit of history. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe launched in April 2017, and until March of 2023, the game has featured the same host of characters, meaning there had been no character changes in almost 6 years. In addition, there had been no changes to character, vehicle, tire, and glider stats in that same time frame, except for a small update adding an invincibility stat after Wave 3. What this led to over time was a Mario Kart meta that was very defined. While it took a little while to get there after the game's launch, it became no secret in the Mario Kart community that in order for you to compete at the highest level of Mario Kart, you generally wanted to use one of the Power 3 combinations, as I coined it, featuring either Waluigi, Donkey Kong, and Roy on the Wiggler, Biddy Buggy, or Mr. Scooty, with of course roller wheels. It was believed that these combinations were simply the best. Content creators like me added fuel to this fire by putting visibility on what many people use, only increasing awareness of what the best combinations in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe were. Over the last few years, the meta was so well known that worldwide lobbies often looked like this. And if you raced competitively in the Mario Kart Lounge, you certainly would be encouraged to use one of these combinations. Otherwise, your teammate would kindly suggest that you change what you're using to something more meta if you're struggling. I know this because it literally happened to me. Since we had no significant changes for 6 years, we had great clarity on what was considered good and bad. In fact, 2 months ago, I started a large project ranking each vehicle in the game. I paused that project after a Nintendo Direct in February 2023, announcing Birdo was coming to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. As I'm listening to the Direct on my car ride home from work, I'm thinking to myself immediately, holy cow! This is huge news. This can change everything we know about Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Now this is finally where we get to Birdo's impact. At this point, we know that Nintendo is finally, after at least 6 years, has at least looked at and maybe evaluated the characters in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. This prompted a video for me signifying that change could be on the horizon very soon. My senses started tingling again in Nintendo's Wave 4 trailer announcement a week before launch. It had a subtle hint that Birdo was a medium weight class character. Like, what does that even matter to the average Mario Kart consumer? But that tidbit of information wasn't for the casual player. It was for the Mario Kart community. And at that point, that's when we started to know that, whoa there, Nintendo is paying attention to at least weight classes. Skip ahead to Wave 4 launch night. Within minutes, the Mario Kart community started to notice that some things were different. Something was up. The most obvious one was that the new character selection screen now had Birdo and several question mark slots that hints at more characters to come at a later time. And the less obvious one is that for the first time in nearly 6 years, the stats for characters, carts, and tires have changed. What changed exactly? Well, Nintendo must have popped into a worldwide lobby because it provided a slight speed increase to every non-heavy character, a slight mini turbo increase to the light and middleweight characters, a slight mini turbo increase to vehicles hardly anyone used, and a slight mini turbo increase to the tires hardly anyone used. But none of those buffs were for the meta combos. This has now changed what was a very defined meta, which had been established for, gosh, half a decade, to what I'll refer to as the Wild Wild West. Waluigi was the king of the Mario Kart meta, and now he has been kicked off the throne. In an unbelievable turn of events, other characters, including middleweight characters like Birdo, could be viable now. I used Birdo on the Teddy Buggy in a tournament with 37 very talented Mario Kart players, and I finished in 4th place. This combination was very strong, and it felt fast as I won my fair share of races. Before these changes, there is no way I would have been this good with the middleweight character on the Teddy Buggy against the competition I was facing. Now you may ask, what is the new meta now? And I think that is something the Mario Kart community is still mulling over. I've seen quite a bit of good information, but honestly, I'm seeing more variety online in combination selection than I ever have before. I'm sure it won't take too long for the preferred combination to be found, but maybe, just maybe, these stat changes have invited more variety than ever before, and possibly the gaps between certain characters and setups aren't as big as they were previously. Plus, with new characters to come, more stat changes could be on the horizon, putting us on an adventure to find out the most optimal setup. I think it's fair to say that we're in a new era of Mario Kart. The first one lasted nearly 6 years. How long will the new one, pioneered by Birdo, last? I can hope it lasts at least a little while, because I've never had more fun playing the game as I am right now. Which is crazy to think, because Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is almost 6 years old. As I wrap up this video, I invite you to chime in on what you think of the new changes. And while you do that, Birdo and I are going to hit the track. See you later.